There's no sweeter gift on this earth than the love parents pour into their children. And there's no greater joy than watching your own kids grow up strong and whole. That's what my mom used to say, anyway, back when I was a kid running barefoot through the dusty fields of Willow Creek, Tennessee. She'd sit on our creaky porch, her hands rough from years of picking cotton, and tell me stories about love that didn't need words, just actions. I didn't get it back then, but now I do. And this story, it's about that kind of love, the kind that bends but never breaks, no matter how heavy the load. So, sit back, take a deep breath, and let me tell you about the day I learned what my husband, Daniel, had been hiding, and what it taught me about the people who raised him. It all started at our wedding, October 12th, 2023. The air was crisp, leaves crunching underfoot at this little venue we rented out near Nashville. I was fussing with my bouquet, white roses and baby's breath, when my mom nudged me. "Sarah," she whispered, nodding toward the edge of the parking lot. "Who are those two over there? Look like they're waiting for scraps or something." I followed her gaze. There, under a sagging oak tree, sat an old couple. The man had a weathered face, one leg missing below the knee, a crutch propped against his side. The woman beside him stared blankly ahead, her eyes cloudy, hands folded tight in her lap. They weren't dressed like beggars, clean flannel shirts, a little faded but neat. But something about them screamed hardship. Mom muttered, "If they're not family, tell 'em to scram." You know how folks like that linger at weddings, hoping for a free meal. I frowned. "Mom, hold on. They don't look like that. Let me ask Daniel." I waved him over, my groom still grinning from the vows we just said. "Hey, babe," I said, pointing. "You know them?" He froze. The bouquet slipped from his hands, petals scattering across the gravel. His face went pale, like he'd seen a ghost. Yeah," he stammered. "That's my Uncle Joe and Aunt May, from way back. Haven't seen 'em in years." My mom blinked, hands on her hips. "Thought you said you didn't have family, Daniel. Almost sent your own kin packing." He just stared at the ground, muttering something about distant relatives showing up out of the blue. I didn't buy it. Not fully. But it was our wedding day, so I let it slide. "Well, they're here now," I said, brushing it off. "Let's get 'em a table." Daniel hesitated, then nodded. No. Let 'em stay where they are. They're shy. Won't feel right at the big tables with everyone else." I shrugged. Fine by me. The reception rolled on, laughter, clinking glasses, the band playing some old country tune. But every so often, I'd catch Daniel glancing their way. Joe and May just sat there, quiet as stones, watching us from afar. When the toast started, I dragged Daniel over to them. "Come on," I said. "Let's raise a glass." Up close, I saw the years etched into them. White hair, trembling hands, skin like cracked leather. May's eyes didn't move, even when I waved a hand in front of her. Blind. Joe's crutch shifted as he stood, his one good leg wobbling. "This here's Sarah," Daniel said, his voice thick. "My wife. We're honored you're here." Joe lifted a shaky glass, his knuckles scarred and yellowed. May's lips quivered as she clutched his arm. "To you both," Joe rasped. And then May started crying. Soft, unstoppable tears. Joe patted her back, saying nothing. I wanted to ask a million questions, but Daniel pulled me away. Later, he whispered. They're fragile. That night, as we drove off to our honeymoon, I couldn't shake it. Daniel, I said, when they head home, make sure they've got some cash, okay? They look like they're barely scraping by. He nodded, eyes fixed on the road, silent. Fast forward a year. First Christmas as a married couple. Daniel was off, quiet, picking at his food. Stomach's acting up, he said, disappearing to our room. My mom handed me a bowl of soup. Take this to him. Man can't skip dinner on Christmas. I found him on the bed, staring at the ceiling, tears glistening in the dim light. Hey, I said, sitting beside him. What's going on? And don't say it's your stomach. You're a terrible liar. He sighed, long and heavy. I'm sorry, Sarah. It's Joe and May, and my folks, the ones I lost. Holidays hit hard. I hugged him tight. Then let's go see them. After New Year's. I want to meet the people who mean so much to you. He tensed. It's a rough trip. Remote. You'd hate it. I laughed. Try me. But I didn't push, yet. Then came the next Mid-Autumn Festival. I was on a work trip in Atlanta, missing home like crazy. Late that night, I called Daniel. Can't sleep? He asked. Watch TV, or just lie there and think of me. We talked until my phone died, and I lay there, staring at the moon through the hotel window, tears slipping down my cheeks. I missed him, missed my parents. And then I had an idea. Mess with him a little. I grabbed my laptop, made a fake chat profile, listener for you, and found him online. Hey, I typed. Why are you up on a night like this? He replied, Wife's away. Miss her too much to sleep. I grinned, then pushed. Why not find someone else to chat with? Fill the void? A long pause. Then, if you're looking for that, I'm not your guy. Bye. I backpedaled fast. No, wait. I'm just lonely too. Miss my folks. And that's when he cracked open. All right, listener for you, he typed. I've got a story. Been carrying it too long. Maybe you'll get it. And out it poured. 10 years of his life, raw and unfiltered. His dad, Tom, was a farmhand in rural Kentucky, crippled from a tractor accident at 40. No wife, no prospects, too poor, too broken. Then came Ellie, a blind girl left behind when her beggar father died in their barn. Tom took her in. They married, against all odds, and had Daniel. Life was brutal, peeling corn husks for pennies, hands bleeding, backs bent. They kept 3 chickens, 2 for eggs to sell, 1 for Daniel to eat. City kids get eggs, Ellie'd say. You will too. You'll be smarter than all of them. But they never ate. Once, Daniel caught her licking the shell after cooking his share. He cried, begged them to split it. They'd nibble tiny bites, just to hush him. The town called him the Cripple's Kid. Ellie'd hurl rocks blindly at anyone who dared, screaming, My boy's worth more than all of you. And he proved it. Aced his exams, won a scholarship. The day he left for college, they pressed 10 boiled eggs into his hands and said, Tell him you're an orphan. Don't let us drag you down. He obeyed, kept them secret. Even from me. One girlfriend met them and bolted, calling them trash. Daniel swore he'd never risk that again. Not with me, not with my fancy family. I love you too much to lose you, he typed. But every holiday, I see their faces, and it kills me. I shut the laptop, sobbing. The next morning, I ditched work, grabbed a bag, and took a train to Kentucky. The hike to their farm was hell, blisters popping, sun scorching. But I found them under a gnarled apple tree, Tom husking corn, Ellie stacking it blind. They froze when I limped up. "Sarah?" Tom croaked. "What are you doing here?" I dropped my bag, grabbed Ellie's hands. "I'm taking you home, to us." They wept, ragged, beautiful tears. When Daniel saw them at our door, he broke down, clutching me like I'd vanish. "They're not my aunt and uncle," he choked. "They're my mom and dad. How'd you know?" I smiled through my own tears. "Because I listened. Parents, they're the ones who give everything and ask for nothing." Tom and Ellie weren't perfect by the world's standards, crippled, blind, dirt poor, but they gave Daniel a life, a chance, a heart. And that's the truest love there is. So, call your folks, visit them. Time's too short to wait. Under that apple tree, I saw it clear. The most perfect parents don't shine in gold. They shine in sacrifice.